What's that, Benny? Me? Well, I don't see anyone else around here, so you must be talking to me. You see, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I don't see anyone else here. Bam! Ring-a-ding-ding, motherfucker. I really wish I hadn't fallen over. There are plenty of non-VR games that you can force to run in VR. Alien Isolation, for example, runs fantastically well through the Vive, making you feel like you're really in the space station it's set. And if there was anywhere in the entire universe I'd like to be, it's anywhere but here. This fucking place with all this bullshit garbage going down.
This isn't fun at all.
Mr. Hair Dye giving me monster space babies. I do not want this. I do not want this. I definitely don't want this. Undeniably, it's the greatest way to empty your stomach through sheer terror and motion sickness alone, which leads us to, fear and nausea in New Vegas.
I did it.
Seriously though, you can run loads of your favourite games in VR using a program called VorpX. Call of Duty, Skyrim, even Arkham City, because experiencing VR as a third-person camera in a Batman game is definitely the way to do it.
I'm Batman's camera.
It's also totally possible to run New Vegas through VorpX, and since it's my favourite game since Metroid Prime and Dark Souls,
Which you can also run in VR.
I thought I would give this one a go. I wonder why I've never tried to come in here before. I mean, it's a pretty interesting— Oh my god, no, I was not prepared. No, thank you. I'm finally safe.
It also didn't really take me very long at all to get New Vegas working on the Vive. It makes you wonder, did Bethesda actually do—
And it does work. New Vegas can be displayed in full 3D in the Vive, and it looks no less convincing than Skyrim, which I enjoy immensely. Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, I had it going before lunch on the day I started.
You have an interest in this, whether you like it or not. You signed a contract.
Unfortunately, you can't use your own hands to aim weapons or grab stuff like you can in Fallout 4 or Skyrim VR. So you can't shove that knife right into Benny's fat face, as I've demonstrated here using a disturbingly close lookalike in Fallout 4. But New Vegas is an infinitely better game, so it's still loads of fun to explore the Mojave in glorious 3D. Trudy, I think something more important is going on over there. Oh, now this is just silly. However, the methods needed to make this game work to its full potential
My eyes.
aren't exactly common knowledge, so guides on how to do it are a little inconsistent. One of the most well-written and comprehensive guides is this one on the Oculus Reddit, which clearly explains that VorpX is a $40 app that makes non-VR games work in VR.
It's gonna be a long day.
You have to wait 48 hours for a request. Oh, for fuck! There we go. Got it. Great. Yep. Thanks. Amazing. Then you finally walk out, eyes squinting from the amazing world you're ready to experience in— Right. Okay. Thanks. Got it. Yup. Good. Great. Amazing! And that's it mostly. Once you have VorpX on your computer, all you need to do is run New Vegas and it automatically displays it all in VR.
Considering that this is all I really needed to do to get New Vegas working on the Vive, it's crazy to think how much Bethesda really charged for Fallout 4 VR. I mean, was it really as simple for them as just flipping a switch?
However, we aren't quite done yet. To get it running properly, you're going to need to be able to mess around with the game's settings while you play. So it recommends you have a wireless Xbox controller and a wireless mouse handy at all times. So by the time you're ready to actually start tweaking this, you've got your keyboard, Xbox controller, wireless mouse, and Vive controllers all around you, and try grabbing the specific one you need with the Vive taped over your eyes. I started with the default VorpX settings, and although it ran New Vegas in 3D, it was more like looking at the Mojave through a magnifying glass, while underwater. And the water's actually cream. And the Mojave is somehow made of headaches. Why do the clouds move when I do?
Damn you, clouds.
These settings really were like looking at the game world through a magnifying glass. The game sort of balloons and shrinks as you move your head. Yeah, you show him, Mario. It was like the radial image you see when you're looking at raw Vive footage was still making its way to my poor brain.
You again.
So I tried importing a VorpX profile someone else set up specifically for this game. Basically, there are loads of settings you can change within VorpX to make the 3D and the way the world moves around you as close as possible to how it would look in real life. Using this profile meant someone else had already gone through this nightmare and worked out the best settings for me. Trying this removed the ballooning effect. But when talking to people in conversations, it was like talking to someone through a pair of binoculars that exclusively transfer light into nauseating pain.
We have such sights to show you.
It just made all conversations flail around uncontrollably when I moved my head. I can't show you exactly how this looked, but basically it was like this. Okay, I'll join you if you just sit still. And in the end, it just made me feel sick, so I turned this profile off. This fixed the pain-filled binocular issue, but now when I talk to people, it just zoomed in so close you could only see the whites of their invariably dead eyes staring back into your soul.
But sometimes they get ornery, just like my grandkids.
I know, Lily. I know. That didn't even nearly kill her. What was I thinking? Oh, and very quickly, I bet you're wondering what that is. Well, I'm proud to say Vorpex is the only program I've ever used that on top of having no trial option, after you pay the full price for the software, you still have an irremovable watermark on the screen at all times. So here, Vorpex, I award you the Arseholes of Gaming Award. No EA, you can keep yours too. Oh, and microtransactions, one for you too. I guess you all fucking win. But I don't know, man, something still isn't quite right here. I mean, have my arms always been over there? I'm piling on the problems a little fast here, so let's back off and explain in more detail the specific issues I had when setting this up and how I actually overcame them. You again! Because the Vive is able to fill our entire vision with the game world, the way it behaves is very important. If the world in here behaves in a way that doesn't match out here, it can cause us some serious nausea. I mean, this is totally legit. Now, things are about to get a little technical, so I brought someone in who can explain this stuff a bit better than me.
What we see when we look into the Vive is normally two screens, one for each eye. These two images are very slightly different, just like how the images our left and right eyes see in real life are slightly different, because, you know, they see the world from different places. The Vive screens mimic this natural difference in perspective for each eye, which is what makes us see the game in 3D. Now, this is an incredibly specific thing. Our brains aren't fucking stupid. I mean, yours is a little, but that's okay. Because Vorpex hasn't been designed with New Vegas exclusively in mind, the software needs a fair bit of tweaking to display this just right. No, it's nothing like this at all. What are you doing? Basically, without this very specific tweaking, when you turn your head to the left, instead of everything you see moving to the right in a sort of straight line, it appears that the world also rotates in the x-axis as you turn, a little like what you can see on screen now. This does not feel good to your brain. You again! Now, this may sound like it will be very difficult to correct, but don't worry, this program now comes with DirectVR. I am morally against what is about to be done to New Vegas, so I refuse to discuss this any further.
When you activate DirectVR, it automatically alters Vorpex's settings to make the game world run just like real life. So not only does it now track your position at all times, so when you move, your arms don't end up on the other side of the map without you, but it also cleverly alters your field of view and other stuff, so that the world finally behaves exactly like it does in real life. Just another day in England, stopping it from causing you any nausea at all. So we'll run this. Yep. Uh-huh. Good. Amazing. And fuck it, we'll try again. Okay. Yep. Good. Wonderful! Like all good software that costs you money, it gives you absolutely fuck all explanation as to why this always fails, but fortunately there are reams of forum pages full of people ready to tell you how it works perfectly for them. Finally, I found disabling my antivirus and trying 10 times inside a building so my PC wasn't under any stress worked perfectly. The game now behaves as you would expect when you move through it and when you turn your head. It's literally like being inside New Vegas. The illusion is complete! I wanted to look into the exact reasons why such a quick change worked so well, and after much searching I found someone who very kindly explained that this is mostly due to asynchronous space warp.
Asynchronous space warp. Asynchronous space warp!
Running DirectVR also caused the game to start being, to use the technical term, jittery as fuck. And of course everyone else is Jesus reincarnated, so didn't experience this problem at all. But the jitteriness did actually kind of level out after a few minutes and the game then ran okay. However, this then caused an issue that meant when I aimed through the sights, my head was no longer positioned in the right place within the game, so the sights no longer lined up where they were supposed to. But fuck that, who needs accuracy after spending an hour setting up their sneak sniper build? You can fix this by turning off true iron sights, which means you use the dot in the center of the screen instead of the iron sights when you aim, totally ruining a large portion of the immersion, but hey, problem solved. Also, now that I've run DirectVR, I wonder what happens when I talk to people. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's back again! Pro tip, don't try and set this up after you've had lunch.
Oh, why did I eat so much human flesh?
If you think back, you may remember a tiny little gripe I had about Fallout 4's flashing menus. To be fair, it is mainly when you're in any kind of menu, like using the Pip-Boy, the start menus, looting items, hacking minigames, or just using lockpicks. So it happens all the fucking time. When entering a conversation or any one of those menus I just mentioned, the game zooms in like you're trying to use the Pip-Boy to tell the time, but you're partially blind.
You cannot fast travel when enemies are nearby.
Now, smarty pantsers out there will suggest increasing the field of view exclusively for the Pip-Boy and within conversations, so this zoom effect will be minimized. You can do this by using a mod or by altering the game's INI settings. But no. It doesn't work. But do feel free to let me know in the comments all the other ways I'm a total fuckface. What you can do though is whenever you enter a conversation or menu, press the middle mouse wheel and this will enter cinema mode. Oh yeah, now I've always wanted to watch this movie like this. Oh my god, I can see why they cut this! All this really means is you see the game more like you're sitting in a movie theater with New Vegas running on an enormous screen in front of you. As a result, this fixes all the zooming issues with one click and is more like you're watching Fallout New Vegas the movie.
Take it! Make it happen!
Now, taking your hands off the controller to click a mouse wheel every 15 seconds is a little immersion breaking. So what you can do is map the Bring Up Pip-Boy button to also correspond with a middle mouse click. This will automatically activate the cinema mode whenever you use the Pip-Boy, avoiding this.
You take a sip from your trusty Vault 13 canteen.
To do this, you first activate Steam's Big Picture mode by clicking here. Clicking here. There, map this and this together, done! There are a few other things you can do to make the game run a little smoother, and once you do, New Vegas VR still manages to be a little better than Fallout 4 VR was on its day one launch.
So once again, New Vegas does everything better than a game Todd Howard was involved with. And it's no surprise, really. Did you hear that?
I play a lot of sports games. I play racing games.
The demon is defeated.
Yippee-yay, there'll be no...
Before starting this video, I'd fortunately already spent the required 100 hours carefully and meticulously modding New Vegas, a game that's basically held together with paperclips and rubber bands, to the point where it was stable and almost never crashed. Look at that picture of elegance, that cornucopia of order, that plethora of... I don't recommend using Mod Organizer, it doesn't always play well with VorpX. I used Nexus Mod Manager.
Oh no!
Using Nexus Mod Manager is like disarming a quantum bomb that takes 15 hours to defuse, and if you sneeze, it's all over and the collective universe collapses around you. No, I'm not doing it. Sure, Fallout 4 dismantled one of the greatest single-player RPG choice-based intellectual properties of all time by degenerating it into a system where your character's personality has absolutely no effect whatsoever on their interactions within the game world. But you don't have to use menus to loot boxes anymore, so it basically levels out, right? Adding this mod means when looting in New Vegas VR, you don't have to open a separate menu anymore. This means when looting, you don't have to select the container, enter cinema mode, leave the container, and close cinema mode all in one go using separate commands. So it's as fucking compulsory as avoiding Sloan after putting every skill point into barter. You know, I really think we can strike a deal here. There, I knew they'd love this. New Vegas is about as smooth as me at a speed dating event.
This is Marjorie!
And as I've explained, VR games need to be as close as possible to real life, meaning stutters can really affect the experience. Like if you were walking through a room and this started happening, it would hardly feel fantastic.
Kill me.
Not only does this mod fix stutters as you would expect, but you can also lock your frame rate at a lower value to prevent things from jumping about. I gotta say, it's very sad locking a game at 45 FPS when the Vive runs at 90. It's like running Pong through the HAL 9000. This is beneath me, Dave. Now I know what you're thinking, if I just blanket port an unsupported game to VR, where do the game overlays like health, compass, messages and action points go? Answer, wherever they fucking want, unfocused as hell and scattered to the cosmic winds. OHUD is a mod by Gopher that allows you to basically do everything you can imagine to the menus. You can move each element individually, remove the HUD totally, have the messages fade away over time, add a clock, take the compass out for dinner.
You haven't touched your ravioli.
With this mod, you can get the HUD to behave like it does in Skyrim VR and Fallout 4 VR. In those games, your health appears whenever you're hurt and then slowly disappears over time, so you can keep an eye on it without it making you go cross-eyed. So those are most of the mods you'll need to stop the immersion-breaking aspects of the game. You know, the more I talk about this, the more I realise that Bethesda may have actually done more work than I give them credit for when it came to porting Fallout 4 into VR. Making it so the game can run in 3D on the Vive, that seems fairly straightforward. But porting the moving arms, scaling your arms, the VAT system, allowing the guns to fire from wherever your hands are, fine-tuning the menus, the locomotion, the way the world moves when you turn your head, it might not be as easy as I thought before. Sure, $60 is way too much for a game.
Country roads, take me home.
But to be perfectly honest, I'm wondering if it was all worth it. All that time and energy and the game still isn't a true VR experience. I mean, from where you're sitting, it must seem like this was all a complete waste of time. The truth is, the game was rigged from the start, like he says it in the game as well. You know?